Nó không phải chụp hình. Đi ha. Vô đi. Phải đi rồi đó. Rồi lại lên. Trời ơi, có cô Nguyễn Tú này nãy giờ thấy cùng.
Having a checklist is helpful to me. Yeah. Because they're not in order in the files.
Tính vô rồi chứ. Chờ nha.
We have a number of visitors from all across the Commonwealth today visiting us, mainly from 3 organizations that hosted this annual visit. It's the Coalition of Asian Pacific Americans of Virginia, the Asian American Society of Central Virginia, and also the Virginia Asian Advisory Board, who is the governor appoints to serve as his soundboard on Asian American issues. And so they're in the gallery today. I've asked that all of us give them a warm welcome, and also just a quick reminder that they are having a reception this afternoon at the Main Street station. All of you are invited as well for some good tasty snacks. So if the house could indulge us with a warm round of applause, and maybe all of you in the room can stand to be recognized. Thank you.
Hôm nay đó mình vô đó vô cái phòng đó mình không có cần nói cái gì hết. Mình đứng đó không á, người ta thấy mặt của một người công đồng Việt Nam giống vậy đó là người ta biết là mình có tiếng rồi. Người ta hiểu là mình biết luật lệ, người ta hiểu là mình xuống đây và mình biết làm sao thay đổi chính phủ để làm việc cho mình. Chứ không mình không có còn yêu cầu nữa, mà mình đòi hỏi đó là tại sao chính phủ không có bảo vệ một công đồng Việt Nam. Và là cái đó là cái quan trọng của cái hình này.
Good to see you. Oh, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Great breakfast.
Okay.
So, she's from the Vietnamese media from Fairfax County.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as I was sharing with Senator Chet Peterson's about he's asking about the raid. So we want to use that as a step. So we want to move forward and create better.
Right.
This is where we can come in.
Are there enough? I mean, I don't know if there are enough. Are there any Vietnamese-speaking police officers for Falls Church?
Nobody.
There are not.
No, we need one.
Have they tried to recruit one?
Well, I don't know.
That seems like an issue right there.
Recruiting, training, those are all issues.
Right.
Dialogue, we ask for community policing. The raid is definitely a catalyst for the community coming together, and it's like a good thing.
They could assign, for example, maybe a beat police officer who's there every day, because he would know who's there, who doesn't belong there, and maybe that would be a better way. I mean, otherwise, unless...
And the Vietnamese Chamber of Commerce and the tenants were willing to help, community policing.
Right.
Because it's a small community, we know everybody.
Right.
So, but if they don't come in, they don't work with us, they don't treat us the way that we're supposed to be treated with respect.
Right.
Respect is mutual. They don't do that. Sometimes you see a police officer, how you doing? They just pull their hand, they don't shake your hand, and we're like, wait a minute, what's going on? Why are you here?
Right.
The thing is, the Eden Center is a very small issue when you look at the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. And one of the things that we're looking at in the Commonwealth as a trade association is not just the Eden Center issues. I mean, we have the 2 legislation that we're trying to push forward right now. That's the Miranda rights, and then we got the issue concerning transparency in the CAM for commercial leases. But just beyond that, some of the things that you're going to hear from us in the future as a chamber is international trade efforts, trade missions, working with the State Department, Department of Commerce, things that you were talking about, how to hammer those employment numbers, to bring in that influx of money through international trade.
Right.
So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. In California, we're very successful at that.
Right.
We're going to be hosting the ambassador to Vietnam coming up in March with
Really?
the general consulate.
Wow. Okay.
Well, he's stopping to our sister chamber, VACOC Orange County, first,
Okay.
and then that's in Orange County, California. Then he's going to come over here. Then we're working
This
with.
from the current government of
This is
Vietnam.
from
Okay.
no, from the United States, the ambassador from
Oh,
the United States.
Okay.
To Vietnam. But then we're also going to be working with the ambassador from Vietnam to link.
What kind
That
of
bridge.
what can we do to sort of make sure that human rights are respected in Vietnam?
You know, we can't touch upon that. We can't touch upon that as the Chamber of Commerce because at that point we will be ousted, and we won't be able to build the economic bridge that's necessary. The best way to attack human rights issue in Vietnam is by opening the capital market.
Okay.
I mean, it's basic economics. If you want our money, you're going to have to play by our rules.
Right.
And if you're going to invest money into the United States, the bilateral investment treaty is going to take care of that. It's going to allow for a certain equilibrium
Right.
and liberty and respect for human rights. So that's all going to play a part. But first, it comes down to the exchange of self-interest, and that's just a basic economics. So we can't address human rights directly. We can't say, oh, we need religious rights, or we need, communist is bad. We can't do that. Otherwise, we will be strong-armed, and we won't be able to come into the country.
Right.
So one of the things that the Chamber of Commerce is doing is directing at the lower level, the company, the corporate level. And once the people come over to the United States, they go to the U.S. schools, such as I have one student right now going to the Macedonian Military Academy.
Okay.
He's going to learn about democracy.
Yeah, I'll say.
He'll learn about freedom.
Right.
And then for that child, in 4 years, when he comes back into Vietnam,
Right.
he's going to know what liberty means.
Right.
Unlike Tiananmen Square, you go in Tiananmen Square, hey, what's liberty? I don't know, but I want it.
Right.
So it's a different model. It just takes a little bit longer. But those are things that we're working on.
Tell me about your bill on Miranda rights.
Bill on Miranda rights.
Yeah.
Just basically, we don't want to stop exigent circumstances where the police comes out and arrests them.
Right.
Certainly, we want crime stopped.
Right.
Bill on Miranda rights, we just want to be able to make sure that people know the due process once there's time to do it. So if
Okay.
you're going to book someone, take them in, pick up that phone, and get a translator on the line if they don't understand it. If you're not certain, put it in writing. And this
Okay.
works both sides. That way, when you go to court, you know the evidence is good
Right.
because it's in writing.
Are
And-
there
and
translators 24/7 to pick this up?
on the phone, ICE use it all the time. ICE use 24/7 translator. They're
Okay.
available around the nation. So it's not a high-cost item.
Okay.
And plus, the conviction rate should be high because you know the due process is going
Right.
to be preserved. Now, for our cases, with the Dragon family and the whole gambling matter,
Right.
I filed a number of motions,
Right.
pre-trial motions. Most of them were granted
Right.
in our
Want to
acquittal.
suppress any confessions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why do that? Why waste all that money in prosecution when it can be clear, it can be written,
Right.
and everybody can understand it? So there's nothing to hide, from the
Sounds
government. or
like you
the
got a
other
good
side.
result for your clients on that one.
16 out of 18
Yeah.
Good for you.
acquitted or dismissed, but it's just a start for us.
Good.
But that's also to say that our fight's not political.
Right.
That's yours.
Right, well,
ours is to support you.
I'm also a lawyer too,
so that you
trust
can
me.
help us.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, guys. Well, I'm happy to help you. Vietnamese community has been very good to me. I've knocked on a lot of doors, and actually, I grew up in Fairfax, and I remember when the boat people came over in the 70s.
All of us and the boat people.
And in fact, the family that lived next door, my great-grandmother had moved, and her old house, it was like this old Southern-style mansion, our church controlled it for a couple of years, and they actually had a Vietnamese family. And there were 6 kids, and I actually used to walk them to school. They didn't speak a word of English. I didn't speak a word of Vietnamese. And I remember the mom used to make like snacks for me to thank me because she didn't speak any English. I went over and raked her leaves, and she would bring snacks to our house. So I kind of grew up around that. And I have a very strong feeling in my heart for the Vietnamese community because of what you all have accomplished. So I'm glad to be helpful.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
we look to a good pairing here, and
I didn't have a chance to talk about the second issue that we thought it would be on the bill this year. Is the
Okay.
camp, the transparency. Would you explain that a little
Yeah,
bit?
what's that?
the whole thing about the CAME is revenues for Virginia. You know, if you're looking for tax money and you're looking for self-compliance and taxes,
Right.
well, you're going to get most of your money from businesses.
Right.
And if the landlord is hiding revenues by misplacing them as an expense, you're not going to get the tax revenue that you need. Now, the Eden Center brings in a lot of cash revenue,
Okay.
a lot of money. I mean, if you just look at the rent in itself,
Right.
you're looking at a tremendous amount of revenue coming in. But if
Okay.
they're being all expended fraudulently or misrepresented on their tax return, then you're not going to see a penny of that in terms of revenue.
So you think they're spinning it off in cam or something?
Well, whether it is or it isn't, what happened is if there's no transparency or accounting in the CAM, there's no self-compliance.
You can't get an audit on that?
We cannot get an audit on it because of the way the lease is written. But this is not something new in legislation. Homeowners Association have to do a full accounting and they have to be transparent to the owners.
Who's carrying that bill?
No one's carrying this bill right
We
now.
thought somebody was
We
doing
were
that.
hoping that someone would carry that bill.
Now,
Now,
we're up against a deadline right now because I would like to carry a bill like that. I'd represent all kinds of tenants, but it's kind of why don't you email me and tell me what you have in mind?
okay,
I'll
all
give you
we're
my
looking
law firm
for
email.
is as soon as someone requires the landlord and commercial establishment to be transparent in their CAMs, you'll automatically see self-policing because the tenants can say, hey, this is an overcharge.
Right.
You can't do this.
Right.
Once they file that complaint, once they file that court proceeding, the comptroller can say, hey, wait a minute, there's something going on here. You're stealing revenue from the Commonwealth.
Right.
And X amount of millions of dollars per year. And we'll see that right away, I think, with our lawsuit with the Eden Center. You'll
Okay.
see that those numbers come out right away, and that it should be in the millions.
Okay.
So we're
The,
hoping the legislation
we have a lot of
will change.
data. For example, we compare the CAM with a lot of real estate investment trusts out there, the public company. They have that. They have the CAM.
Right.
So we compare easily.
Yeah, I mean there should be like dollar per square foot. It should be pretty standard.
It should be the same, but they're not.
Commercial shop.
There's someone paying 27, and there's someone paying 4.
Okay.
So that's the variance. I mean, on the face of it, it stinks.
Okay.
But-
who owns the Eden Center?
At Boca Raton, Florida. So
Okay.
not only that they're changing the numbers,
Right.
but the number that they do get goes to Florida anyway.
Okay.
So we get a double whammy for the Commonwealth.
All right.
And the
But-
Eden Center is the heart of our community. We have 70,000 Vietnamese here,
Yeah.
and we only have one center, and everybody comes there.
Do you guys do like an annual festival like the Koreans do they do the Chorus Festival?
We're bringing that into Virginia now.
Okay.
There's another group that's going to maybe take the lead on it this year.
Right.
If that doesn't go well, then the Chamber of Commerce is going to take
Because
take the number.
y'all used to do that dinner at the was it the Fortune?
Fortune.
Right? Yeah. Do y'all still do that?
We do.
Hotel?
We have a lot of different Vietnamese association that doing different things.
Okay.
And I guess Fortune is still one of the places that they do quite a bit of that.
Okay.
And you know, we have the Diamond Club now, it's the V3. So
Okay.
it's pretty big. So we do a lot of event there. all
Gene
the
did a
time.
fundraiser for me at Diamond a few years
Yeah.
ago.
And I think we're going to build on that.
Okay.
So not only at the Diamond Club, but our last gala with 300 businesses was at the
Okay.
Marriott Fairfield.
Okay.
So we're going to expand on that. We're going to grow on that. We're going to take a lot of ideas from California. Like
Okay.
one of the Love Fest for Japan raised $400,000 in one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to implement some of those concerts
Right.
and do a Love Fest here in Virginia. And
Okay.
we'll let your staff know about that too.
Okay.
You can come out. But I think, like I said, we're trying to have the community all come together
Right.
and each one take a part of something, so not everything is loaded on the Chamber of Commerce.
I get it. Well, you got a good leader here.
We do.
You
We
got a
do.
very good leader.
But I think that I used to be a treasurer in the of the condo, and then we made a cost per square foot how we accept the tenant, you know.
Okay.
And again, here I saw that the condo, the CAM is about 250 and 3% higher than average. Where did the money go? No accountability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it wrong, but
All right, let's take a quick photo. Hey, Alex.
Yep.
Can you grab a photo of this fine group?
All right, guys.
All right, let's.
Yeah.
Where should we gather?
Everybody has to get really close here.
Hop on in, ladies in front, please. Ladies in front, please.
One day I remember to come to my restaurant.
Which restaurant do you have? Oh, in the Eden Center. Okay. Here we go. Turn sideways. Got it, Alex?
Yep.
Wonderful.
Got
Thanks.
it. Good work. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to visit. Thank you. What's the name of your restaurant?
No, not cave restaurant. You go with one person, you can do come over there.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
come over here.
you can call us. You
I
have my
like the
number,
Viet-
sir.
I do. I like
Thank you very much,
Vietnamese food.
Senator. Appreciate it.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Yep, thank you. How do you say, gamun?
Come on. You got it. That's it.
You gotta help me work on my
Oh,
Vietnamese.
you got it.
I mean, it's horrible. I used to know a little
I'm going to
bit.
Chu. I am a civil engineer.
Okay, Chu.
So I know a little bit about the.
Okay, on three. 1, 2, 3. Good.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Actually, can we take one more? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
All right, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming by, man.
Thank you, Mark.
It's been busy. We're going to go to the advisory board now. The Asian advisory board, we got a little bit to talk about there. You know, we were there at the Senate or the House when you introduced us all. So we really appreciate it.
It's so good seeing you. Yeah. Thanks for coming by. Thank you.
Thank you.
But we did get the bus down here.
Oh, I know, that's great. I know. We're just talking about
Yeah.
leaving the Eden Center at 9 o'clock.
So, and field cars, but we're getting things done. All right. Hey,
Thanks, man. So I'm going to see you at the reception. I got a bunch of things to
At
do
5
before.
o'clock?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'll be there.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nếu bà không có lên tiếng á, mà phải lên tiếng thì mình sẽ nói. Chứ mình phải hiểu cái game của
Another major area that we are looking at is the government contracting for small businesses, this diversity in supplier. We are looking at issues like redefining the definition of small business. That's a very complicated issue.
I'm Angela personally, China Telecom Cyber Technologies, Korean American Association of Virginia, and the Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce, who actually brought in 50 people today. And then this morning we had 30 people from the Korean community come up, we had 20 or 30 from the Chinese community come up, and we're joined with additional people from Richmond. For a full list of sponsors, we do have packets prepared for you guys and for the legislators. It has very basic information on who organized this event, some of the policy recommendations from the Asian American Justice Center, some of the census data, as well as recommendations from PATA. So, you know, without ado, let me just go with the people who brought in a lot of folks. So let's start with Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce. If you guys want to say a couple of things or.
Thank you. My name is Dwayne Sarang. I'm the Chamber's along with me today is the president of the Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Ben Nguyen. We come here today on, unfortunately, different tidings. We come here en masse because we are an upset group. And we have been upset in the Commonwealth of Virginia for many years. But because of our timidness and humility, we have been quiet. As Asian American, and specifically Vietnamese American, we do not share all the problems that the Commonwealth have today. The majority of the people here, unlike Virginia, are employed. We're employed because we own our own businesses. We are not necessarily the most educated group. We have our PhDs, we have our doctorates, we have our attorneys. But we also have uneducated entrepreneurs that create jobs, pay taxes, and do more for the Commonwealth than those that are currently employed. We are a silent crowd in that we don't always ask and demand for human rights when we should. When the Washington Post or 11 Media and 17 Agency comes to the Eden Center to raid us on false charges, we were quiet until we spoke up in protest and found our own justice in the court system that was unbearing. It's unbearing because, unfortunately, we are not represented. We're not represented in the judicial system. We're not represented in commerce as we should be. We're not represented on many fronts of the government at the higher echelon of the government. We are here today because we would like to make a difference. We would like to start by understanding the government. By understanding the government, we hope to trust the government. These are words of our founding fathers. We are here today because we want to show unity. We are here today because through eradication of discrimination and having a voice that can be heard, we shall change the way the business model is done to improve not just the Vietnamese American community, but Virginia and this nation at large, and pull us out of this recession. Through jobs, through employment, through tax revenues, we're here to help our government make a difference. Not by standing silent anymore, but by coming together with one unified voice. Thank you.
Members from the judicial system here, and also many people who represent the Commerce, leading by Assistant Secretary so they can address the concerns we have. Do you have a comment?
I just want to throw a comment. To the gentleman that spoke, I thank you, and you're very passionate. I just would like to, on behalf of your community member that's here today, stand up and be recognized.
Please, Chairman.
Thank you for being here. So, Tony, would you like to address the concern about not being represented in the judicial system?
Dr. Wynn, thank you. When you mentioned we had representatives of the judiciary here, I looked around. I was ready to rise when the judge was here. And I think a lot of our consternation that comes from what Mr. Tran has stated was being silent resulted from an incident that we all can acknowledge occurred up in the Eden Center. And to his credit, Delegate Keem has introduced a bill to address the issue of advising our members of our community of their appropriate Miranda warnings. And I won't get into the legal specifics as to what Miranda warnings are, but prior to being arrested, you have to be advised of certain rights so you can make a known decision on whether you want to communicate with the police or not communicate with the police. And to have that translated in our native language, that is a noble and a very, very important issue to put forward for law enforcement communities. Let me tell you a little bit about my background. When we talk about we're missing individuals who serve in particular capacities, I work as the general counsel for the sheriff here in the city of Richmond. So I work in an executive level position for a law enforcement agency. So I do recognize the importance of having cultural sensitivities as it relates to policing in our communities. We may talk about community policing in the context of the general population that we have, but I understand that Northern Virginia has a much larger Asian American population, so it's incumbent upon organizations like the Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce to reach out to the law enforcement agencies, to communicate with those individuals directly through the chief of police. If that issue doesn't work out, the next best thing that I can advise for you to do, although I'm not your counsel, so Mr. Chan, if I can speak to you to advise your folks, is to certainly reach out to the governing body, the members of the city council, the county board of supervisors, who are the ones that actually have a hand in appointing the chiefs of police. Because no chief of police wants to hear or be faced with the specter of racial profiling or racial insensitivities. I'll just put that out there. If I'm being recorded, that's fine too, because I'll stand for whatever I speak with today. But when we talk about adequate representations, it's obvious that we have a substantial body of Asian American attorneys that represent a breadth of communities across the board. We're lucky to have 2 members to represent us in the legislative branch. We're lacking, sorely lacking, in members who represent us in the executive level branch, with exception of being elected officials such as Commonwealth's attorneys or the governor or the attorney general. But what's remarkable in this time of age, in 2012, mind you, in Virginia, is that we don't have any qualified American of Asian heritage serving in the judiciary at all. And that lends itself to a lot of problems in misunderstanding cultural significances that can be missed when you're asked to observe evidence or understand how a person begins to present. I will say one of 2 things. Mr. Tran, you are very passionate, and that's commendable, but sometimes we have folks in the judiciary that don't have the cultural understanding to realize where you would be coming from and may misinterpret that. And that's important. to have judges on the bench that reflect our interests, reflect our culture, reflect our journey, and reflect our understandings of what it means to be Americans. We don't have an Asian American judge. And we have members throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia who practice law throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia, who represents each and every single person who looks like us in this room, but they don't appear before a judiciary that looks like us, that understands us, that's walked our journey, who understands our heritage and understands our history. So that is just as important as creating economic benefits and job creation, but also social justice and being able to be having representatives in the judiciary as well.
Thank you, Tony. So if you remember, this past summer, Tony came up to Northern Virginia during one event and talked about some of the safety issue for Asian Americans, specifically Vietnamese Asian Americans. But if Mr. Tran can reach out to Mr. Pham and create another event so that Mr. Pham can come up and speak to you as a group, maybe he can share some of the experiences having worked or still working at the General Counsel for the Sheriff's Department. While in a different location, the rules are the same. So I think it would be a great venue for you guys to match up and be able to work out, whatever issues that there may be. Yes, Angela.
I want to add a little bit to this thinking process. We all know the highest concentration of Asian American in Virginia is in Northern Virginia. And the people tend to focus on the federal government because you are very close to Washington, D.C. But you forget the state policies, laws, everything happened in Richmond. All right? So it's wonderful you have a big organization in Northern Virginia, but if you don't get down here to meet the General Assembly, you don't get anything. You can meet, it's wonderful for you to meet your own representative, but they cannot pass the law by themselves. You need everybody in General Assembly understand. You're not just going to stay in Northern Virginia, coming down to see them. So this is the reason we've been doing this. This is the 8th year we're doing this. We want people to all get together and show General Assembly that we have people. We will speak with one voice. If you don't come down here, you have wonderful organization in Northern Virginia. Guess what? There's some other people really don't represent us. And here, we'll speak up, and they get what they want, and you'll never be heard. So I think it's very, very important that we continue to have this network, doing things together. I think we should do more, not less.
Can I have a quick question? So today, and when you went to the General Assembly, what kind of success did the group have in terms of reaching out to the General Assembly members?
Thank you very much. I know because the time was limited, so we did what you suggested. We split up into 6, 7 different groups, and we went to see different delegates, senators, and we brought out issues onto them, and they're very compassionate about it. This is the first time that the Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce has actually been down here, and it will not be the last. So thank you very much, and really appreciate it.
And I just want to note that we take that comment very seriously. And hopefully you can see, not just by our words, but by our actions, that we understand the powerhouse to the Commonwealth is here in Richmond. Now, Mary, my wife, and I, we traveled as attorneys down to the Virginia State Bar Association. And just to resonate what Madam stated is, we were one of many, and the only one, at the Virginia State Bar annual meeting. We were one of maybe 5 Asians from the entire Commonwealth at the Virginia State Bar annual meeting. So that is something that we do take to heart and we do take seriously. We do participate in town hall meetings now. We do have our own town hall meetings. We will have our rallies. And as President Bin has stated, the association is not going anywhere. We were silent before, but at this point, we will go anywhere in the Commonwealth necessary to make those changes.
Okay, so her, and then you, and then
You really make me get excited and feel very positive, and I thank you for what you do and keep it up. But one of the things that I do want to share with you, Richmond is a holy city. We all know that. You come here and do things. A couple times a year, politics is local. Don't let anyone fool you. Build relationship with the local politicians. And I can give you examples of some of the things that we do. Virginia Beach is not Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia, you're complicated and you are more advanced than us. In our little town, Virginia Beach, we just appointed a police chief, newly appointed. So what some of us did, I put together 7 different groups, Korean, Chinese, Filipino, 7 groups of us together. We hosted events. We invited the police chief and his 3 deputies to come. We also extended the invitation to the mayor and to the city council and school board member for them to come. So we build relationship. We let them know, this is the Vietnamese community leader. This in an event that's very informal. And then from there on, the relationship started. The chief started asking each community, could you appoint me a liaison? When I have a problem, I'll come to your liaison, and we will work out things or prevent.
But because of the immigration history is still short, we still have a lot of room to improve on as far as our public participation, community participation is concerned. I think good things would happen for Asian communities because we are becoming more aware of the fact that more involvement is what's required. Under our agency, we have something called VIAD, Virginia Israeli Advisory Board. It's an agency. You know, why is this an agency? Okay, for Israeli community, if you bring Israeli technology.
Election year is pretty easy to know what to do. First, we have to fulfill our responsibility as citizens is to go vote. So whoever is not registered, you have to register so that we can vote. And that really is the one of the ways in order to voice our opinion and to gain the control that we need for our own community. So please register to vote. And secondly, do get involved and participate in political events, whichever party or non-party that you decide to do, and support the candidates, regardless of who it is, because of their platform, because of the issues, or the things that they will bring to the community or to yourself. Whoever it is, please be involved. So it's pretty straightforward, yes.
One more question, and ask what you can help us, is the fact that there is no such law in Virginia where it requires a commercial landlord to release the CAM, to be transparent, the cost to maintain. Now, as small business owners, as you help to promote, help businesses grow, you do so many good things. Now, if there's no such law out there to help clear that out, that way the state can audit and all that, those issues make it easier. Now, as small business owners, we're trying to put that effort out on, on the legislation. What can you do? What do you think about it? What can you help us, bring that about so that way it's something that.
I think the first thing you have to do is work through your local legislature to introduce the bill, okay? And then during the hearing, I think we can be the proponent to sort of convey our viewpoint if it enhances economic development and so on. And I think that has to be the first step. And that was the reason why I believe you said it, and you said it, and she said it, everybody said politics from the local. You have to start from there, work with the legislature to introduce the bill first. Okay? Because executive, we are executing the law that's passed. Legislature, they passed it, they create the law. So you have to work through them first. There's steps to the process. I don't know if that helps you.
The question, is it the local issue or state issue?
Well, whether it's a local or state, somebody has to introduce the bill first.
Actually, I want to represent our, actually I want, as a citizen of Virginia and of course the U.S., we know that once upon a time, one of our presidents said, ask not what we, not you, what you can do for us.
Kennedy.
Yes, with President John F. Kennedy. But ask what we can do for you. Now, as citizens out here, we don't know what to do in many ways. But as the people out here now, we think it's fair for us to ask again. Not just one way, but two ways. as now what you can do for the citizens like us. Don't wait to go up from the bottom up, but we did the top down as well, so that we can help move our citizen concern. Like for as the moment right now, a lot of our business owner here at this Eden Center, they suffer from the CAM issues. We try to put that CAM issue to make sure it's transparent, so everything is open, nothing hidden. And so far we run into many different problems, and we cannot get it even today to the issue that we can propose. And that's why help us so that we can help you more effectively. We want to help, but we need your help as well.
Well, thank you so much. And one thing I can certainly convey to you is this. I know everybody on the panel here think exactly the same way, and it is, you know, we Asians have too much respect for people in government. The other side of the Pacific. Well, in the U.S., I think we need to take this triangle upside down. Okay, now our government thinks exactly the same way. The citizens hold the highest position. Okay, we are servants. We serve, right? Now we may not be able to solve all your problems, but I think there's nothing wrong with conveying each other's problems, at least making an attempt at it to solve. Okay, and that I think is also part of the game as well.
Yeah, just like we very disappointed. We try to see that we have the CAM, the common area maintenance fees, being transparent on the bill, but when we came up here, we see none of that on any bills. With all these delegates that try to represent for us, that very disappointed for all of us. But we can only do is hope, and not now, just not hope. We ask you to do something for us as citizens. We don't know what to do. We try our best, but so far it haven't got to that point yet. So hopefully you can do.
Yeah, Delegate Hiep Hoi was at the meeting this morning. I think she represents your first person to go to.
Good. We really hope that and make sure in public we all know about the CAM issue and we want to push forward.
Right. And secondly, in the adjacent areas, for example, with Delegate Marquis, he's also in the Annandale area. So if
we did talk to them about it. We're just surprised that we didn't see it on any writing piece of paper. And that's why I have to make sure it's known.
Yeah, it may be the timing was, you know, too close. So
we try our best. That's why now we have to speak.
Could I add something to it?
We're not asking for some special treatment, okay? It is the fairness, the CAM, the trust fund. We want accountability. Just like the condo fee is itemized.
Well, I think you have a lot of passion, but I want to say something to help you with that. From the policy makers, the worst thing is they don't hear anything from you. Only when you have problems, you come ask, and then you ask two people out of 100 House delegates. One way to do it is petition. Write something, everybody sign, send a letter, and get a press report. Civil rights movement by African Americans, what happened is the press. It's like TV, when they have, after they had TV, everybody could see what happened during their movement. And that's how it happened. And we have to create that, program. So the newspaper, TV channel, the government, the governor, all officials know this is the issue. We have people talking. We have a letter. We have 1,000 people signed up. Those are the voters. If thing doesn't go the way you want it, the next term, that person will take. That's the only way you can get change. Otherwise, you come to talk just to a small group. We have to create that. We have to get together. And when we have events, we should invite the mainstream newspapers come here to look at TV. So those kind of things will help us. And we need to take a page out of the civil rights movement to do this.
Đúng rồi.
Chỉ có chủ tịch cộng đồng nói thôi chứ còn ai nữa. Ai mà nói cái câu đó là một người hèn nhát để chịu cho người ta đô hộ mình đó.
Ok.
Ông chủ tịch hỏi
đó là mình phải biết á.
Bà con có sợ bứng hai cái cờ đó đi không?
Ông chủ tịch có hỏi bà con có sợ nó bứng hai cái cờ đó đi hay không?
Ông chủ tịch nói câu đó đúng không?
Đúng rồi.
Bây giờ ông chủ tịch Hiệp hội VACMC hỏi bà con có sợ bứng hai cái cờ đó đi.
Bây giờ chúng em Hiệp hội Thương mại hỏi quý vị có sợ là Alan Frank sẽ nhổ cái cờ đó đi hay không? Đúng rồi đó.
Bây giờ đó thứ hai nữa, mình còn cái chỗ nào ngoài cái chỗ Eden để mà có cái cờ của Việt Nam Cộng Hòa mình không? Và cái lá cờ á, là hồn thiên sông núi á, không phải là nó ở trong cái chỗ đó, nó ở trong trái tim của mọi người. Người ta cần phải xác định cái điều đó. Mình đừng có bị đe dọa bởi những cái lý do khác.
Đi làm có quyền, không có quyền. Chị không có đọc cái bản tin mà ông Đỗ Hồng Anh muốn đứng ra để làm hòa giải. Chị không có đọc bản tin đó.
Dám không làm rồi mình suy nghĩ tới vấn đề đó làm gì cô hiểu không?
Chị phải đọc bản tin đó.
Ok,
Dạ.
bây giờ đó nói về luật pháp. Một á, là strategically đó là làm rất là khó. Hai á, luật á, mình nghĩ đó là ông không có cái quyền để kéo xuống hai cái cờ đó.
Chị phải đọc cái tờ đó.
Cái đó là một cái chuyện cam á, là mình đã trả tiền cho cái đó rồi. Cái đó là hai cái flag post mình đã bỏ tiền ra cái đó rồi. Cái đó nó đã giống vậy 300 năm rồi. Bây giờ mà ông kéo xuống cái đó đó, là cái đó là một cái chuyện về cái breach of cái lease lần nữa về cái chuyện cam. Mình trả tiền cho cái đó không phải ổng. Mình bỏ ra hai cái cột cờ đó không phải ổng. Mỗi năm á mình thay đổi cái cờ đó đó không phải ổng. Với là cuối cùng á mà ông kéo xuống cái đó đó là cái đó là sai luật, sai cái contract của mình ký với ổng. Đó, nãy giờ nói về luật cái lý cũng sai luôn. Cái luật cũng sai luôn. Cái luật cũng sai và cái lý cũng sai luôn.
Nghĩa là ông Frank không được phép lấy cái cờ đi mà không có được phép.
Không được phép.
Không được phép, coi như cái đó về cái người tenant đã mướn trả cái tiền kem thì coi như họ có quyền theo cái đó, ông Frank không còn có quyền.
Một số người á, không có hiểu rõ, nghĩ rằng là cái parking lot, chỗ ổng cắm cái cờ là đất của ổng muốn làm gì ổng làm. Cái đó sai. Giống như quý vị có cái nhà, quý vị đã là chủ căn nhà đó mà mình không có ở, mình cho một người khác mướn cái nhà đó, người ta trả tiền nhà. Trên cái đất của mình á, người ta muốn treo cờ gì là người ta có quyền treo, đó là hiến pháp đầu tiên của nước Mỹ. Mình không có quyền đi vô cái nhà người ta đang mướn của mình nói ê tao không cho mày treo cái lá cờ này. Ok, cái đó là sai. Cái Eden Center là cái đất của ổng, nhưng ổng đã cho mình mướn rồi. Cái parking lot á là một phần của cái cam của mình là trả cho cái parking lot đó, quý vị biết mà. Cái cờ đó nằm ở trong cái parking lot đó, tiền cam mình trả là của mình. Ok, không có quyền gì hết á. Cái đó nó rất là hợp lý và nói là luật là hợp lực luôn.